Thanks for joining us at Tantrum Round Studio 3. I'm Will.
I'm Sarah.
I'm Melissa.
And I'm Kevin, and today we're doing a viewpoints of The Great Split. Today we're sharing our opinions on The Great Split from Horrible Guild. It's a drafting game for 2 to 7 players where you're building a prestigious collection of riches by trading cards with other players in simultaneous drafting rounds. You start each round by splitting your cards into 2 groups. Then you pass your wallet to the player on your left. You'll be gaining a wallet, choosing a group, and passing it back. You'll get one of the groups back from your wallet, and then adding those up together on your personal board, moving up different tracks. During the game, there are 2 scoring rounds, and at the end of the game, there's 1 final scoring round. Whoever has the most points wins.
We were able to pick up a copy of The Great Split while we were in Germany at the Essen Spiel.
Yes, thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It's on the list.
Good job putting it on the list. We brought it back. Several of us have had an opportunity to play it in addition to the 4 of us. However, we are going to share some of our thoughts on the game today. I know it was one of the games that was on your anticipated list. It was one of the games that we were excited to get out of the box. It really does feature some really nice components and some interesting gameplay. What were some of you guys' takeaways?
So we saw the prototype at Gen Con. So we knew right away that the quality that Horrible Guild was going to be put into this game was going to be top-notch because they were really fine-tuning some of that in the prototype version. And it intrigued me, the gameplay, too. Going up the different tracks and trying to go up the right ones to get the points. So that really intrigued me at the very, very beginning.
Yeah, there's definitely a set collection aspect where you're trying to get similar icons so you can go up those jewel tracks or get a bunch of art or books, but you are kind of limited by what you have in your hand and what your neighbor passes you. So you're not always going to see all the cards or the cards that someone across the table from you gets to see because you're not directly affecting that person.
Now, I thought this could have been kind of a roll and write type game. Everybody could have just had a pad of paper and you're literally just marking off boxes on a track, and then when you get to certain parts in the track, you get to mark something else. So that's the feel of the game, besides the split mechanism.
A roll and split.
Yeah. Yes, but I felt like because they had nice inset boards that have gorgeous artwork, I felt like it made it feel like a little more, I don't know, a nicer experience because of the components.
You're not just marking off X's on
your
board.
It's not just a piece of paper with, faded pencil marks on it.
I will say the I Split You Choose mechanic is not really typically one of my favorite mechanics. I always feel like I can't ever get it split the way I want. I never get the cards back that I want. One of the things that I really enjoyed about this game is that the card that you use to split with is actually your color, so you can keep track, and it acts as a wild card.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so you get it back, and kind of regardless of how bad of a split you got back, you have the opportunity to at least mark off one thing that you really wanted for the round, which gives you a lot of power over the course of the game because you get that card back every single time. And so even if you never see the blue gems, like, you can start working your way up that track just by using your wild card, which I thought was a great bonus feature, like, mechanic in the game.
Yeah, I feel like there was a lot of trying to anticipate what the other player that you are splitting the cards for them to choose, what they are wanting to try and get. You're trying to make some guesses and assumptions, and then the cards that you're receiving from the other player, they're trying to do that same thing. So where your focus is, it is helpful that you do get that player or character card with some bonuses at the end of the game that will kind of help point you in a direction if you're really lost.
The character cards that you're getting at the beginning. Is that what you're talking about?
That you use at the end.
Oh yes, because they have the different icons. I think those character asymmetrical powers really do help you sort of go in the right direction. But I will say sometimes you're going in a direction, but you don't get the cards that will help you go in the right direction. So sometimes it could hurt you going up 5.
If you focus too much and don't deviate from what you need.
But at the end of the game, they have those little icons that you're basically adding to your score, which I agree with Sarah.
Yeah, I sometimes don't always, kind of like Will was saying, don't always correctly do my splits. So the most recent game, Hannah was to my left, and I had maxed out on the green track, and I had like 7 green gems in my hand. So I'm trying to make
Get
those.
her to take it.
I'm trying to get her to take those gems because they're almost useless to me.
I mean, you can use them for gold.
Right. You can discard
not
them.
as good.
Right. So I was trying to make that attractive to her, but she was not. She was like, I'm giving you the junk back because I know it's not going to help you. And I was like, ah! I mean, I was able to use them for gold, and that gave me the double arrows, let me go up on another track, but...
I think the tracks are also interesting because they're not all real equal, like how they are laid out. The books, the tomes, and the art have one kinds of seal that you're moving up, and then the gems and the gold have other types of seals that you're moving up. So different ways of getting points because the books and the art collections you can go all the way up to 4 stars, where the other ones only go up to 3 stars. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah,
so you can
I
get way
did.
more points on the other 2 tracks if you can go up them, but it's hard to go up both books and art.
Right.
And we can't do everything, right? In a nice way you choose. In this kind of game, you can't go everything. So choosing which tracks you want to go up is really
Yeah.
important.
I did really like the scoring mechanism for the art.
Okay.
With the sliding
Yeah.
track at the bottom.
Art gets
I thought
more
that was
valuable.
really good scoring mechanism. for
Trying to
that.
stay ahead of that kind
Yeah.
of pushes you in the game to go up those tracks to get those extra couple points. And usually most of the games that we played have been pretty tight scoring, so it really does come down to 2 or 3 point differences from poor decisions or better decisions that you made during the game. I enjoy the scoring. I do think it's not unnecessarily complicated. I like the track idea,
Okay.
but I think that was the hardest part for me to understand the very first time we played it, where I was like, what is gonna happen? And it's gonna be above and below, and I don't know.
Oh, like the lower gem gives you double the points or things like that.
Or the art slider.
The art slider was
the art
confusing
slider.
to me at the beginning, but
Okay.
it's really not a difficult game to play. It is
No.
pretty quick to jump into and easy to understand. The components do make it really nice, and just moving up those tracks makes perfect sense as you're looking at your cards and figuring
Yeah,
out.
I
what to
did
do.
expect it to be a little heavier than it was.
It has to look like it could
has
be.
to look like it, and like the component quality and everything. I thought it was gonna add like an extra thing to the end, or
I
I
can see.
anticipated
Another mechanism.
another mechanism
Okay.
or something added to it. So when I got to that, I was like, oh, I think I was expecting another thing to happen.
Yeah,
Or
I
Maybe
think-
more comboing or
yeah,
something.
and-
Yeah.
which just means that it could use a good expansion
There you
with
go.
another difficulty level to it.
So a couple other things are the player count. I think is really important
yes.
in this game. I personally would probably it plays 2 to 7, but I personally think I would play it with 5, 6, or 7 because of the type of game it is. I think I would if I had a game group of 2, 3, or 4, I would choose another game.
Oh, so
I think
I choose 3.
you would play this.
Yeah,
We
three-
played it
three
at
or
4,
four
but
was
I
very
think
good.
I
No,
think
I
it would
agree.
get-
It plays fine at 4.
Right.
I think
it would
he's
get better
saying he
higher.
would choose other games. Like,
Oh.
if I have 4 players, this isn't the game I'm going to bring out. But 5, 6, and 7 can be hard to
Yeah.
find a
games
game.
for.
And
Especially this weight, there's not that many choices for that player
Right.
count for
5,
this
6,
type
or
of
7.
game. It is.
yeah, and it's simultaneous play, so having 7 people is not going to
It's the
hardly
same.
add any more
Yeah.
time to the game,
So I'm-
which is
I'm
nice.
thinking- I like that a lot about the game.
But you all liked it at 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I definitely did.
It seemed fine. I would love. Have you played it at 7? I would
Played
love
it
to try it
at
at 7.
5 or 6, and it was
I
fine.
would love to see the full complement.
The interesting thing about the higher player counts are, of course, the I split you choose. The cards that you're splitting may not come back to you, so there's sometimes there's
Right,
better
they get-
cards are
Well, I
like
had that even in
going
4 players.
around. And you
Like
may
I didn't see. There were a couple cards I was like, oh, I really hope Will does not pick this one, and then he did, and then I never saw the rest of the game.
Because
and there
you're
were only 4
And I
players.
won.
You're always passing to the left the entire game. So whatever cards I give Kevin, he's then going to choose which to give back to me. The ones he doesn't give back to me are now in his hands, so they're going to be for him and the player to his left. So yeah, it is kind of that march of cards down.
Slowly trekking
I
around.
think the other thing, and I don't know if there's any way to fix it. I mean, there could be. I wish the game ramped up a little faster. I don't know. It just felt like I'm just getting these onesies and twosies. At the end, I'm getting 3 or 4. I don't know. It just, personally, I was like, I wish there was maybe just a little bit better way to ramp it up even faster. Because you're only adding 1 card into your hand.
Right, and you
each
do have a
turn.
hand limit, which is actually, that's one of the interesting things too, where you can only, in the first couple of rounds of the game, hold 5 cards
It's
in your
5,
hand.
5, 6, 6, 7, or something like that.
Yeah, and those 6 and 7s get real nice. It's like it's kind of, you could be strategic with it. There were several times when I'd get 4 back from this person and 3 back from this person, and I'm like, I gotta get rid of one of these cards. Are you kidding me? Like, I made the splits just right so that I would get a bunch of cards, and now I don't even get to keep one. But then you get to that 6 and 7 round at the end, and you're like, so many cards. Let's
Now,
just
yeah.
mark everything.
Interesting.
You do get to
So there is
score
a little
the
robust.
card.
You're scoring all those cards.
Right.
But then for the next
But
round, you have
I
to
did
decide.
find it interesting, or in my mind, making decisions on, I have 7 cards, I have to go down to 5 or 6 cards. Should I trash these really good cards so no one else ever gets them again?
Right.
I did that with stuff I wasn't collecting, or I was really far on the track.
I don't
didn't
care
really
about this
need
track.
anymore. Oh, this is exactly what Will needs. It's go to the trash.
Trash, and no one ever gets it.
Yeah.
I still won.
Sorry.
You want to mention the...
Weberson Santiago did some really great art for this. It's got gold foil on the boards, are all very nice. They got a nice textured design in the background.
We mentioned the double-layered boards, the cards, everything looks good.
Yeah.
Also, someone in our game group said, we don't need to play with the wallets, but Melissa mentioned what's important, why the wallets are actually important to the gameplay.
Right, because you don't want the person that you're handing the cards back to know which split was taken. So if you didn't have the wallets to put them in and you just handed it back to them, they could know, I got the 3 stack or I got this 2 stack or something like that. So the wallets do help keep it hidden while people are making their decisions.
And they're nice. They're a nice little aesthetic touch because it's all colored and it does, like she said, have the texture on it and everything. So it's pretty slick stuff.
And it says plays 45 minutes. I would say 30 to 45. I mean, it's not going past 45, really.
Yeah, it's a quick one for sure. If it looks like something you'd be interested in, we'd love to know what your thoughts are on the game. Have you had a chance to play it? Do you agree with us? Do you disagree? Let us know in the comments. We always look forward to interacting and seeing what you guys have to say. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys in the next video.